Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Got a cool one today. We're back on the 3D printing train. This may look like an indescript box, and kind of it is one of those, but actually this is a really cool idea that I just stumbled upon when I was looking through, it was actually on Bamboo Labs, like Maker Lab. Sorry, my kids and my nanny are screaming in the background, so ignore that. But basically it was like an idea, or sorry, something I came across on Bamboo Labs, is it like Bamboo Marketplace, I think? It's like when you have a bamboo printer, you can go to Maker's Lab or whatever, and you can see where it is there. But from a guy called, what's this guy's name? Daniel Meyering, Meijering. I'm going to put a link to this actual build below. But what you may be noticing right next to me is one of these. And this is, in this video, what I'm going to do is I'm going to build this and see if this works. But what it is called is it's called his ChronoBox for the AceTech AC5000. And so basically it prints in like 3 parts. Effectively, these 2 printed on the same plate, which is the lid to the box and this small insert. And then this box printed separately. Time on this one was about 4 hours maybe for the box. And then on these 2 was about 3. I think I printed out of ASA, which is a new filament that I'm trying out. So quite excited to see. I didn't print it with any supports, and actually it was a little bit bad on the bottom here, which doesn't really matter. But the idea of this is basically to have a box on my desk that I can fire my replicas into and just do a chrono reading, so that I don't have to like mess around setting up a backstop, firing them outside, whatever it is. So the idea of this is basically that this little insert here is where this chrono box is going to go into. Sorry, the AC5000 chronograph from AceTech. That is then going to, with nuts and bolts, which we're about to like do in this video, attach on the front here. And that has got a hole through the back and then through this little gap. And then that is going to be filled inside here with a load of insulation. I've got some there that I'm just going to like cut up and try and use. And then effectively I have this box, which I can just sit on my desk or wherever it is, and I can just put my barrel there and shoot through. And then hopefully, let me just make sure this has battery. I haven't used it in a long time. It does have battery. And then hopefully I can just get chrono readings without having to worry about where the BBs are going to go. Am I aiming in the right direction? And hopefully it's going to stop anything in here that would kind of go through. I mean, this isn't a new idea. I've definitely seen people who have just taken cardboard boxes and stuck their chrono like halfway in, filled it with newspaper or whatever's in there. And that seems to have worked. But I thought actually it's just like a 3D printing file idea. This was really clever. So on the actual thing, he says apparently we need 7 M4 bolts and 3 M4 nuts. I put 1 centimeter rubber mat and some acoustic foam on the inside to protect the walls and slow down the BB. So a 1 centimeter rubber mat, I don't think I have, but I do have some acoustic foam or equivalent. And so my idea was to take this, which actually was just one of the top pieces from my Noveske N4 NSR SD. I'm just gonna cut this up and then just try and lay these out in here and just see if that kind of helps. What I might try and do actually is like cut a piece that is like that floor bit. But first off, what we want to do, I think, is attach these pieces in. As you can see on the inside, there are areas here to put M4 nuts. So we're going to put that in. And then I think these top pieces, it's just going to like self-thread. Well, that's the idea. So he said it's an M4 nut and an M4 bolt. I think we'll probably want... Just look at the distances on this guy. Is that going to be good? I think that's good. So we're going to go with these, which are the M4 12 mil. So I'm going to go with 7 of these, apparently. I think we need the first 3, which is going to be the important one. So let's do that first. And then I need M4 nuts. I got this in terms of a set just from Amazon. They're pretty easy to get hold of, if you ask me. You can just search like M4, like bolt or nut set. I now have quite a few different sets. So I think it's always good, like if you're going to do 3D printing or tech work or anything along those lines, then it is quite good just to have a couple of these sets around. I always buy them in black because generally I'm always going to prefer to use these black setups. Okay, that one's not going to hold in, which is fine, but I'm just inserting these nuts into those 3 little holes there. This one I just need to hold in place, I think. So we'll put that one in there first. Then we need to make sure this hole is lined up. And the first one I'm going to do is this one. If you've got smaller hands, I think this is going to be easier. Let's just see where this is going to go. Okay, so that goes there. And this guy is going to go in here. So I'm just going to loosely put these in first, and then we'll get the screwdriver to do that afterwards. Okay, that did not bite in, apparently. Maybe I'll go with a slightly longer screw if this doesn't fully sit. I feel like it should do. Okay, it feels like it's in. Nope, it's not. Okay, I'm going to go with a slightly longer screw. So instead of the 12, I'm going to go with this, which I think is the 16. Let's get rid of these 12s. And just make sure that is for you guys. Yeah, a 16. I think you can go longer with these. It's not like you're kind of, you know, going to be putting the screw into anything. Let me just put this in here first. Like you're just going into dead space, and it's not going to be like you're seeing it or you're catching it on anything. Or I presume that's what it's going to be. Okay, so that's now definitely biting in, which is what we need. Next one, we're going to go here. I feel like that's misaligned slightly on this bolt. This is super fiddly just because of my fingers in here. You know what I'm going to do? Actually going to get out my Mr. Tono, no sponsorship. And I'm going to do the, let's just see which one fits here. Yep, that's the right one. This is magnetic, so it should be a lot easier to do it this way. That's my 2-year-old who turned 2 on the weekend. Thinks he's a dinosaur half the time. Okay, so that one's now biting in. And then the last one. This is a lot easier way to do it. I would say do it this way. That's going to be my advice for the day on this build. What is going on? I think he actually got scared. He's screaming mummy to his nanny. I hope you guys can hear that. It's not just me looking like making weird faces. Okay, so now I think I can just turn it this way. We can attach this in. Cost to do this was nothing. It was free as a file. Or Daniel Majoring, Meijering. So I think that's majoring. Basically put the file up for free. So there's no cost in terms of buying the file. And then the actual print probably, I don't know, costs like $2 or $3, maybe a little bit more. I did print it in expensive filament, so that may have increased it slightly. But as long as that sits in there nicely, we're good. So that's looking pretty great. Next, what I'm going to do is basically I'm just going to chop up some of this stuff. I have a knife with me, which might be the easiest way to do it. We'll figure that out. Let's just get this properly. Okay, so I'm going to do this here. Kind of roughly putting this. It might be easier to do it with scissors or with a bigger, sharper knife. This is just what I've got to hand right now, so I'm rushing it. But I think any kind of packing material you want to do this with, you could do. Okay, so that's not going to fit. So we're going to have to sort of cut this down somewhat. Yeah, this is not the best knife to be doing it with, to be honest. So what I do for you guys, I just rush stuff. Okay, so that in terms of the width is good. In terms of the... I think this should be good. We'll try. Okay. Right, so that actually turned out pretty great. That's kind of like the little foam mat thing that I've put in there. Now what I'm going to do is basically put, I'm thinking just different lengths of this in here. So like actually weirdly that fit really well in there. I don't know how. I might put again, cut this and just stick this on the other side just because I don't want to waste anything. Well, that one didn't fit too well. To be honest, what actually is probably the most important bit is getting this back. Getting a nice section on there. Just going to cut it the whole way down because it's going to make it easier. Yeah, I don't know if scissors would be easier for this. Like the other thing you can do is you don't need to get something like this. You could just take your like Amazon packages and you know, take your Amazon packages and just do like that and just kind of put them in. And the other thing is like you're probably gonna have to change this stuff out. So I'm hoping that when these threads go in here or when the bottom pieces go in, it's not gonna like need too much. It's gonna be easy to like outer thread it. So that's gonna go in there like that. What we can then do is, I almost don't want bounce back, but I do want to contain this. So I'm gonna go with another piece. It's gonna be about this thickness. You could very easily measure this as well. Not go about it in the like crappy way that I am. Get a ruler out. And I'll just go down the whole way. Okay, if we go like that, go about there. Probably some of you guys are like, whoa, you're ruining this Noveski licensed blue piece of card. And yes, I am doing that. Okay, well that was perfect. So look, this is kind of where it's at now. I've got like a nice little box. I don't think there's any point in doing this part, or there probably is a point in doing that part. But the thing is, it's not actually going to be very... And I could just kind of stick this here. In fact, that worked really well. I'm just pushing that, what do you call it? That screw into the back of there. And that actually pinned it on there. Just push that on there hard. Okay, so that works. And then I'm just going to do maybe, I'm thinking this is going to get mashed up as in the actual inside. So I might just do a load of pieces that are just going to almost create not sound baffles, but you know, like little gaps between, just so then they can, like the BBs can get trapped. Again, I keep stopping being like, I'm going to cut it across, and I don't know why I would do that. I'm just going to cut all the way down. You can actually rip it, it might be a bit easier. And then cut these in half. That's perfect. Just going to go in with that guy. In with the next guy. So that's kind of my plan, is to do almost like little sections to go between them. I could even glue this, to be honest, but I need to sharpen this knife. Okay, cut it in half again. Another one of these. Finally, maybe a double backstop. So that just holds that in place there. And then maybe I'll just stick a couple of spreaders between these. So almost like a gap piece there. Look at this, I'm getting super technical now. Gap piece there. Gap piece here. Gap piece here. Maybe one more. Just cut one more strip and then we can do it. I kind of almost think it'd be good to just pack everything, but I think it's just then going to bounce straight out. We're not going to get the capture it inside that we kind of want. That may be a way better way to do it. Maybe score the card and then just pull it. That's going to be better. Okay, and then I'm just going to do one of these, and that's going to go here. Okay, so that's kind of what it's looking like right now. I'm trying to think if I should do any more on this. Maybe do a little, just a couple of top pieces. Okay, so that's going to be there. I'm then just going to stick this in the top. So it's not solid, but it is going to keep that top on so we don't get any bounce to the top. What is actually happening though, slightly, look, is it is bowing there. So I may have an issue. Yeah, I think I am going to have an issue with that. So I'm just thinking which ones are pushing it. This one here, I think. Okay, well, let's go with that and then let's see what this ends up like. Okay, so we've got that all in place. That's looking pretty nice. Stick this guy on the top. As I said, I'm getting some bowing there, which I don't think again is going to be a problem, and probably will push back as that foam kind of starts to disintegrate a bit. But we are going to need some more of these. I might go for these smaller ones just with this. And then we are going to have to grab my piece. I'm thinking that this is just going to self-thread. That's the plan. It's really hot in LA here today. It's like insanely hot. I don't know where this heat's just suddenly come from. It was super cold previously. Not super cold, it was colder. It's never super, super cold here. Okay, so that's threading in really nicely. Okay, so that one's going in. We'll go with another one of these on the far corner. To make sure it's going in straight is kind of the key. Okay, that one's going in. Another one here. Okay, that one's going in. And then the last one, this corner. This one's not threading in the same way. Okay, it is now. That one felt like it was a lot harder to get in. I was about to say, this has been super easy. This is like the easiest one we've ever done. Nothing's gone wrong. And then I was like, okay, I'm going to catch myself on that. Okay. And the last one, let's tighten them up. I don't want to over tighten and thread and strip these screws, or strip the actual piece that they're biting down onto. There's no need to go too hard on these. So I'm going to leave it like that. As you can see from my foam, there is a little bit of like overhang here. But that now, I was going to shake that. Obviously that's not in place. That now is looking pretty great. Okay, so now the test that we're going to do before finishing the video is going to be firing into it. And we need to make sure that it's actually going to stop the BBs. So I'm going to pause for 1 second. I'm going to go and grab a replica, and then we can shoot into it and we'll see if it's actually working. 1 sec. I just resumed and then paused it for a second again there. Okay, so what we're going to be using today just to test is going to be this, which is my Combat Master Terran Tactical Glock 34. It's basically a Elite Force Glock 17 with a upgraded slide on it. If you haven't seen me do these, the video on the upgrade on this, I put a new trigger in it. I've put some other upgrades inside, including hot bucking and barrel. Really like this pistol, so we're going to test it out. So this is going to be firing .25s. So what I'm going to do here is we're going to go boom, and then it's actually set. I'm trying to remember how to use these ones. No, we want to go here, and then we're going to go to .25s. Okay, so let's hope that the back of this doesn't explode. That didn't register. Is it firing? That was firing, I think. Okay, there we go. 233, 227. And it is definitely like, I can see the BBs inside. So they're being caught, but they are actually like not going through the foam fully. 222, 222, 223, 230, 221, 220, 225, that bounced out, 222, 223, 225, 230, 221, 225. So this is working really well. I'm just going to finish this off in here. Okay, finish that off there. And that worked really well. So if I do this now, you can see I can get the BBs out. So it is not doing the best job of containing all the BBs, which actually I'm not too mad at, because it's kind of good that we're getting some way of emptying it, kind of. And it is going to make some of that shaky noise, which is annoying. But I mean, it's not annoying. It's going to sit on my desk, so it's really not annoying at all. But it'd be good if it was just in. So what I would maybe do is maybe not use kind of foam that is this solid. If I was doing it for you guys, I'd maybe use it for something else. But there is no damage on the outside. There's no damage on the back. It sits in there perfectly. It's super snug. Can just take it out like that and empty them as well, which is probably easier than putting it back through the chrono. But I can now, if I want to, just sit this on my desk over there. If I'm testing anything for you guys, it's not like I have to go and get something. I have to hold the chrono. I have to do anything like that. I can just do that. That's obviously firing at like 230-ish on 0.25 grams. If I've got something that's firing over 400, I wouldn't be too scared about doing it with that. Just because I've got that foam in there, I think it's just going to dig deeper into the foam. So this is my review / build of this, guys. As I said, if you are a 3D printer or a guy or a girl who wants to 3D print and you want to do it, I'm going to put a link down below if I can. I'm trying to think how I share this now. I'm going to find a way to share it, and I'll put it down there below. But it's called the ChronoBox AceTech AC5000 AIRSOFT on Bamboo's online models, if you want to go search there as well. But a big thank you to Daniel who created this, and I think that's just a really, really great, easy thing to print to have at home for airsoft. Probably a lot of people out there who just want some kind of stop for their chrono, and being able to just print something like this is pretty awesome. All right, guys, thank you so much for being here. I will see you all very soon on the next video, and have a great day. Goodbye.